Welcome, Gertens shoppers, and thank you for joining us today. Today we're going to talk about troubleshooting an LED tree. Now, we understand that when you purchase a permanent Christmas tree, you really want to be able to build it, plug it in, and have it work. When that doesn't happen, it can be a very frustrating experience. So today we're going to talk about what to do when your LED tree doesn't work. If you own an incandescent lit tree, please see our other video. Right now we're going to be working on this beautiful 7.5-foot Snowshoe Pine, and I noticed that this tree, when I plugged it in, is not lighting up. And with an LED tree, they generally are quite a bit more problem-free than our incandescent trees are. There are fewer things that can go wrong with an LED tree, but you still want to go through some basic steps to figure out what the problem with the tree might be. So the first thing you want to do is you want to check the electrical and make sure everything is plugged in. So right now I'm going to check. I've got my controller plugged in here. The connection on the bottom is tight. I'm going to follow my electrical up. I'm going to check all three of my connections. Make sure that they're tight. Okay, that one looks good. And you can even unplug and replug them in to see if that does the trick. Often it will just be a loose connection. So I always recommend, if you're seeing a problem with one of your trees, go ahead and check all of your connections. Make sure that they're nice and tight. Redo them if you want to. Just, make sure there's no fuzzies in there that could be preventing the electricity from making a connection for you. They're all in really nice and solid. So it definitely is not the connections on this tree that are causing the problem. There's one more thing we can check with an LED tree that could be the problem. So here at the base of the tree, and I'm going to unplug this so that you can see it. Okay, so this is my transformer. You can see that it says LED controller on here. Sometimes it'll say transformer. Basically what this does is it takes the output of your plug-in. It will take the voltage that's going in from that outlet and put a much smaller amount of electricity into your power cord. It's one of the reasons that LEDs are so inexpensive to run. They just don't pull that much electricity. So you can imagine this tree has roughly 2,600 lights on it, and it's being run off 0.5 amp. So that is just not a lot of electricity to run so many lights. So LEDs incredibly effective at energy conservation. But what I think may have happened with this tree is that this transformer has died. You go up to any electrical system whatsoever, you touch the plug-in and it's hot. There is heat coming off of it. There's probably a problem with that electrical connection. Generally speaking, electrical plugs should be running at roughly room temperature. So 70 to 90 degrees is typical. If you touch something and it is hot to the touch, it's over 100, 110 degrees, there's probably a problem with that electrical connection. You never want heat when it comes to electrical. I happen to have a spare electrical controller for this tree. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to switch them and see if that's the problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo my electrical connection here. Okay, I'm going to take that off. Then I'm going to get my spare. We're going to plug that in and see if that will make my tree run. You always want really tight connections when you're working with electricity. Super important. And there you go. Now the whole tree, minus one section. looks like I didn't get the top part. There we go. Okay, so again, why did that do that? Because this connection right here is loose. So if our camera will come over here, you can see the more I jiggle this, how loose that is. So if you notice that a section of your tree is kind of jiggly, you want to make sure that you are tightening that electrical connection really good so that it doesn't jiggle anymore. If you notice that no matter what you do, you cannot get this tree to come back on, make sure to look at your tree warranty and take the steps that you need to contact your manufacturer to get a new controller. So LEDs, there's really only a couple of things that you can do to fix them. Check all your plugs, check your transformer. And then if you have a power connect tree, which is a tree where as you plug it in, the sections plug themselves in through the center of the pole, make sure that your power connections are clear of any dirt or debris on the inside of that pole. Because again, if this flocking were to get into a power connect tree, it would stop the tree from making that electrical connection and the tree would not be able to light. So make sure if you have a power connect or a power pole connect tree that the inside of those connections on the inside of your tree are clean and clear every time you assemble your tree. And that should help you to make sure that your LEDs stay on bright and beautiful. If you have further questions, please do not hesitate to email us. That email is permtrees, that is PERMTREES @gertens.com, and we would be happy to assist you. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a beautiful, problem-free holiday.